who accused her wife of committing the first crime in space pleads guilty after admitting to making it all up. We had a space crime that was fake. What was a space crime? Summer Warden claimed in 2019 that her wife, NASA astronaut Annie McClain, tried illegally accessing her bank account from space. I will go to the one place that has not been affected by capitalism. Space! At the time, McClain was on the International Space Station. This was the first allegation of a crime in space in history, as reported by the New York Times. Warren accused McClain of guessing her password to illegally access the bank account from space. McClain, quickly, to the board. What are you doing on your cell phone? Nothing. It seems like you're trying to access a bank account, which, again, turns out this was a lie. During the investigation, however, federal investigators found out that Warden had given McClain access to the account since 2015. The two women share a son who was born through surrogacy. Warden now faces up to 5 years in prison and a maximum fine of $250,000 after pleading guilty to lying to law enforcement. Goodness gracious, Cretaceous. All right, let's talk about it.
No, I, under the advisement of my attorney, I really kept quiet and refrained from speaking to any media, even though there were requests in advance. And the reason for that was because we didn't want it to come back in my face and make it look like I was trying to retaliate to Anne or to ruin her career, which is obviously what she is stating now, is that I'm trying to ruin her career. But what happened was 2 weeks ago.
Mastermind Hour writes, shout out to my moderator. Hey, we're Kit Cabello. You know, we want to talk to you about your audience. They say mean things or they do a lot of jokes. That's the way I love them. Mastermind Hour writes, she wasn't in their jurisdiction. Jack Acid writes, DEI program working great for the space program. Let's see. And these are the news we need. Crimes from outer space where no one can hear you scream. All right. Let's see. It's not my department, says Werner von Braun.
On Thursday, when we finally had a hearing in front of the judge did award Anne McClain a visitation schedule to my son. And at that point, I knew I had to come forward and tell my story because the momentum of the case was not going in the direction that we were hoping it would go, in accordance with what the law should be and preserving my rights as a parent.
Lady, geez, Louise, you lied and said it's your wife. That you made it up. You said your wife hacked your account in outer space. Listen, I'm going to say something that's very brave and truthful and controversial at the same time. But, you know, when you're in space, you know, you need to be focusing on making sure that the station that you're in is operational. You know, I mean, yes, there's probably some downtimes in R&R, but, you know, the last thing you need to be doing is, hey, here's a question. Can you get a signal from outer space? I mean, I would be impressed by that, how she would be able to pull that off. I mean, even then, like, let's say she used like a regular laptop. I mean, I'm pretty sure NASA is keeping, you know, I don't know, government surveillance, you know, maybe keep an eye like, hey, McClain, did you hack into your wife's bank account? Like, no. It's like stuff like that would show. Imagine returning back to Earth. Yeah, FBI, you're under arrest. You might have been in outer space, but this is law and order, okay? This is law and order in outer space. By the way, that's I did not make that up. Hold on. Prim 54 did. See, I want to acknowledge my audience. When you guys do jokes, I love you. Teddy G, Houston, we have a problem. Oh my God. Hey, we're going to continue watching this. But first of all, Fandom says your wife hacking into your bank account from outer space. Whatever happened there. Whatever happened there? Jesus Christ, Kit, why would you ever bring that up?
And so at that point, I made the decision to tell my story.
This has got to be so hard for you as a mom and a grandmother to watch your daughter and your grandson go through this.
Probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
I mean,
You know what? I could have never imagined something like this would occur in our family. The only thing that keeps you sane is
Dan, I love you. Dan Barr, I love you. Get up, go to the subway.
you just have to have faith that the right thing will be done. But now, as continue the momentum, it looks like the right thing isn't being done.
let's talk about the letter that you guys sent to NASA.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? Why did you feel the need to write that letter?
Well, while Anne was in space, things just kind of progressed normally. But as she was getting ready to return, Summer was becoming more and more frightened and let us know about that. So, therefore, we were much more frightened and thinking, oh my goodness, what is going to happen? Surely there's no way on earth that a third party could take our grandson. He's our firstborn grandson. So, he's very special, as they all are. So I said, what can we do? And at that point, Summer said, well, you can write letters. Maybe that's the thing we need to do. And as we discussed it more and more, I'm like, yeah, this is and is NASA's responsibility. And Summer was in the Air Force. She was a major. My daughter-in-law is still in the Air Force. My son was in the Air Force. And when they would all come home for holidays or something like that, there was great discussion that went on. And they were always very.
Lady Alex, scissoring is a challenge in zero gravity. Get up. I know you're going to be retiring soon, and I say this out of love. Go to the subway. Go to the subway right now. All right, you're not going to go to the White House counselor's office. Go to the subway. Go to the subway now.
I shouldn't say fearful of actions that they would do, but it's like, oh, you have to be careful because no matter what you do on your private time, it reflects on what you do in your professional life. And no matter what happens in your private life, the Air Force is going to know. They're going to know what you're doing. So you just have to, live above the law by all means.
How hard is it to watch your daughter go through this?
Oh, it's horrible. Anyone that has kids knows that. I mean, if you've ever had a child, you always want better for them than you've had. And to have them hurt, and I felt there was nothing we could do. So the only thing I had an opportunity to do was write that letter. And I discussed it with our family, and it's like, what can we do? So everyone agreed, okay, maybe this will make a difference.
Summer and I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I mean, you and Anne, two smart, beautiful, you guys succeeded in fields that really, even this day, are not easy for women to succeed in. I mean, people wanted to see, I think your friends and family wanted to see this work. How hard is it for you to look back at what you had and where you are now?
Okay, so this is like the interview that took place, right? So just a little bit more into this. New York Times, an outlet that's never screwed up. A former Air Force intelligence officer pleaded guilty last week to lying to law enforcement when she falsely accused her estranged wife, who is an astronaut, of illegally accessing her bank account from space. Summer has a warden 50, now faces up to 5 years in prison and up to a $250,000 fine. It is the end of a year-long bitter legal dispute between Miss Warden, a decorated intelligence officer in the Air Force, and Anne McClain, a West Point graduate and Iraqi war veteran who joined NASA in 2013. Miss Warden's allegations, which she made up in 2019 while Miss McClain was on the International Space Station, were the first allegation of a crime in space. In space! Ms. Warren accused McClain of guessing her password to illegally access her personal bank account from space in January of 2019 and claimed it sparked inquiries from the Federal Trade Commission and NASA's Inspector General. Federal investigators later found out that Ms. Warden had, in fact, given Ms. Klain access to her account since 2015 as part of the couple's interwed finances. An indictment unsealed in April 2020, prosecutors accused Ms. Warden of lying about when she first opened her personal account and when she first charged her login credentials. Ms. Klain has stated since the allegations first emerged that she had permission to access Ms. Warden's account and was merely managing the couple's finances with the full knowledge of her estranged spouse. An aviator with more than 2,000 flight hours on various aircraft, Ms. McClain returned to the International Space space station in March 2025 as commanders of NASA's SpaceX Crew 10 mission. She returned to Earth in August. Ms. Warren will be sentenced on February 12th, 2026. Oh my goodness, my birth months. That's what's going to happen. And I still have that title up from Lady Alex. Scissoring is a challenge in zero gravity. Yes. And Red Starlet says, wait, I thought scissoring was horizontal. As long as they have a good grip, it's the same, right? You know something, Red Starlet? You're not wrong, but get up and go see the White House counselor. Okay? All right. So there you go. We have the first crime of passion. Or is it not really the first crime of passion? I guess the first the first false accusation of a crime that did not take place in space. So we got some breaking news. We did it.